27 and 27 and 27. 27, yeah! hello! Yeah! I do. And so does Scott. Yeah! Church on Sundays 27. And as usual, this is a continuation of the last video, and we're going to change subjects and go blah, 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 over to the place. Yeah! And, so we're talking a little bit about the unbelievers, and and this these videos for everybody, because I know people are looking for meaning, in their life. They're looking for something to attach onto, and that's part of the reason why I think like there's all this. It's like our culture's going through this stage right now where people want to identify with all this other stuff, it's to me, it's just another level form of being lost, wanting to identify with something that's physical on the outside when the answers are on the inside. It's the spirit within. That's where the identification needs to be. Okay. Not on, I identify with, I'm no gender, but you got what down below? Okay. Well, I don't know. It sounds a little to me, but I understand some of the dynamics that are going on there, and I've got compassion towards all, but some of the stuff that's going on out there where people are trying to identify with, and it's like out there. It's real simple. When we're looking at the basics of humanity, when we're looking at the simple basics of humanity, there's male and female. And I understand that there's some people out there that are male that need to identify with that, and there's people that are female that need to identify with that. And that's, with the way that our world is and all the things that we're exposed to, we're going through a lot right now. And there's a bit of that stuff going on, but it's all the other stuff that people want to identify with. So anyway, we just don't want to get into all of that. It's just that people are searching for an in-depth meaning. And the issues is that they're trying to identify on the outside when the answers are always going to be within, you see. And it's because of the spiritual voice that's within inside, you see. And it's with the power of God that is within you, you see. And back to the matter of the fact that, I got to tell you, I've had an experience with God like no other, I think. Like no other. The spiritual and supernatural things that have happened to me that got my attention were like big time. And some of the gifts, I will say, some of the gifts I will say that God has given me, and thank God for those, because, oh my gosh, I'm just not living, what's happening to me is just not normal. And part of the reason why I'm sitting here right now, because, part of the reason why I'm sitting around, but I'm still having to go through the faith. Right? I'm still sitting here doing what I'm doing, going on faith. My mantra is, right now, is like, I got it written on my board back there, and it's seen as, God, I can't wait to see what you do with this, And it's one of those things where what I'm doing here right now, one of my other videos, it's like one of those, it's one of my mantras, sort of, that was taught to me a long time ago by a lady by the name of Ann Brebner. You don't have to think, you don't have to know, you just have to be. She told me that. You don't have to think, you don't have to know, you just have to be. And well, that's kind of deep, and it could be, but, that's part of what really faith is not, you're not sitting there using your mind, thinking, confusion. You don't have to be concerned about all these things. What you need to do is you just need to put forward, push forward in faith. Push forward in faith of knowing. And, some little heckler, jackler dude said, I said something on some Facebook ding-a-ling. Well, okay, I'm sorry, I won't criticize, but, faith is believing in the unseen. And I think that that's probably a difficulty out there that people have too, is having faith, because faith is not an easy thing. And faith is one of those things that takes, there's uncertainty. You could to have faith in Like here's an example. I'm just going with what pops in my head. Okay, like I heard about this story about this guy and his wife had this child, and whatever was happening really bad with this child, I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was just a horrendous scene to them to be able to see their child on this respirator and being forced to breathe kind of artificially, and just looking at her the way that she was in that particular area, and somehow this guy saw the wisdom and understanding that was not her, and he needed to have faith in who she was going to be and start focusing on that, and start focusing on her being a little girl playing around and running around and being normal and everything. And so that was the thing that helped him change his torment that he was going through in that moment. It was to have a faith in into another realm and picture it that way. And obviously he got to that point where he was with his daughter in those days where she was running around and she was normal, but a lot of us were caught in the moment and we're stuck in the moment. And, we somehow think there's the magic wand, the magic wand. They're supposed to just kind of poof and make things happen. And people are like, oh, how could God allow all this stuff to happen? Let me tell you something. What happens to us on this earth is pretty much inconsequential, because to a certain extent, I only have to encourage you to say this, the earth is school. And we're here to learn. And so whatever happens to us on this earth is pretty much inconsequential, because what's afterwards is where it's at. What's afterwards where it's at, that's where it's at. Yep. And as people, we need to have faith in that too, because that gets rid of torment. Because there's lots of things in the life that the torment and the cause of worry and all the cause of kind of certain. So there's a good reason right there. Having the Holy Spirit in your life and having self-realization and coming to the understanding of the power of God that is within you and the Spirit that is within you can get rid of a lot of torment in your life. I mean, there's a dude out there, his name's David Harris, and he's got this mug. It's like, be calm and trust God. And in all the storm, and I've had some storms in my life. I tell you, I have some storms, and I'll tell you those stories, and I'll tell you, but then again, we're back to the biggest thing that I think that makes it difficult for people to believe, and I don't care if you're a believer or an unbeliever, okay, because the believers, we're still having problems with faith too, and we're barely hanging on by a string when it comes to that, and I think that faith is, when you're required to have faith in something, in believing in something that's there and that's the unseen. I mean, and those could be, those could be a lot of subjects in your life when it comes to stuff like that. Is believing in the unseen and knowing that's what it's there, because I guarantee that none of us is void from torment and difficulty in our lives. And some people just kind of try to just go ahead and bring it on in, and say it happens, and just kind of dwell on that. And then your life is just, go listen to Think, Feel, and Believe. Go ahead and listen to some of those videos there too, and that'll give you a little bit of insight about what's going on with those people too that just accept it and then just bring it in and say it happens, and go along with that. So, that's. I think that's one of the things that kind of pushes people away too, because it's what is it always easier to do? To not do, right? It's easier just to sidestep that mountain, go around it. It's easier just to sidestep that mountain, go around it, than to go up. But the wisdom is, here is the wisdom. You must go up the mountain. You understand me? You must go up the mountain, because there is where the answers is. It's more difficult to go up the mountain than it is to go around. But the thing about going around the mountain is that you're going to go around and then you're going to come back to the same place that you were before, right? And you're going to get faced with that thing again. And the easiest thing to do is, just go around the mountain, go around, and you're just going around in circles, circles. And you keep meeting this thing, and and when it comes to belief and everything like that, people are going to make up their excuses to try to poo-poo it aside and shove and poo-poo it aside, because it's easier to just walk around that mountain. But it's more difficult to go up. It's more difficult up. It's more difficult to have faith. But faith is like a muscle, you see? And you go, da boom, da boom, da boom, and you exercise, and you exercise faith. When you exercise faith, when you exercise it, you build up the strength. And if you did, I'm hoping that he did. I'm hoping he did. That I exercised enough faith in my life that in Church on Sundays 25, and you go listen to that one and the little story of faith that I have right there, and that guided me in a place of extreme torment, and what it did for me. And it took me a little while to develop even the faith that to where I could even experience that, So it's in my she's got the exercise of faith.